Hi everyone, so it's been quite a while since I last updated you on my everyday kind of basic makeup routine, so I thought I would do that for you today. And it's also been quite a while since I last filmed a tutorial like this, so I may be a little bit wobbly and shaky and unsure of what I'm actually doing, so sorry about that. So I thought I would go about this video slightly differently and just basically show you what's inside my everyday makeup bag and kind of put the products on as I'm talking about them. This little bag is actually from Charlotte Tilbury and it's part of her collaboration with Norman Parkinson, which I had a little sneak peek of a few weeks ago, and all the products are just absolutely beautiful, so I can't wait for those to all hit the shelves. But this is a really handy size actually because it fits everything that I need in there, but it's not huge, so I can't overpack it and then end up not being able to find anything that I need. So the first thing I have in here, of course, is my foundation, and at the moment it's the Mercier Silk Cream that I've really been reaching for the most. Usually you would see the Bobbi Brown Skin Foundation in here, but I've just recently completely run out of it. I've never run out of a foundation before in my life. I don't think I've ever even used half a bottle of foundation because I go through so many different ones, so that's quite an impressive feat. It definitely shows you how much I was into the Bobbi Brown foundation. But the Silk Cream is really nice. It's definitely a fuller coverage foundation, but I like to apply it with a really big blending brush. So this is a Tarte, I think it's their airbrush foundation brush, and it just kind of gives it a slightly more kind of light to medium cover with this. So I basically just put a few little dots on my cheeks, my nose, my forehead and my chin, and then just really blend it in with the brush, and you really do get a flawless finish with this, but it kind of just shears out the foundation slightly, which I do like. And the Mercier foundation has a really nice consistency. It's definitely slightly thicker than other foundations, but it has a lot of moisture to it, I find, so it really helps with any dry patches, and it leaves a nice glow on my skin too. I'm sure I'll get a few comments saying how annoyed you all were that I didn't tie my hair up for this, and I'm sorry, I've just kind of realised that I didn't do that, so never mind. So that was basically just a pea-sized amount, and it really has just smoothed away any redness, any uneven skin tone, and just kind of made my skin a bit more flawless. On to concealer now, and of course I have to use my Bobbi Brown Corrector first of all. Can't be without this stuff. I think it's featured in every single makeup routine I've ever done on this channel. I recently bought a new one, so it's looking pretty fresh and nice, and I just remember all over again how much I love this stuff. I have the shade Bisque, which is just amazing for kind of blocking out those purpley, bruised, kind of bluey undertones, which is what I really have under my eyes. The concealer that I'm really into at the moment is one that I've kind of had for a while and I've rediscovered recently, and it's the Makeup Forever Full Cover Concealer, and this is definitely full cover. It really does conceal everything amazingly, and I find I can use this under my eyes as well as around my face too, and I always like it when I find kind of a multi-purpose concealer that I can do that with, because it just saves time and saves products. So again, I just pat it in a little bit under my eyes and then blend it in with a buffing brush. And this is actually a contour brush from Real Techniques. You all know I love this one for concealer. And then I just kind of put half the tube all around my face on my kind of spots and blemishes and redness. And I have a lot of redness at the moment around my nose, and I find this works really well at concealing it. And then I use a slightly different brush for blending that in around the face. This is Sephora's Pro Airbrush Concealer Brush number 57. This is a really nice one for just packing on a bit more coverage than the Real Techniques brush. And then the setting powder that I have in here is of course my Hourglass Ambient Lighting Powder in Diffused Light. Love this stuff, can't get enough of it, you all know the story by now. So I'm just going to put a really light layer of that all over my skin. So that is my base pretty much done, and although I've used slightly fuller coverage products, I've really kind of worked at buffing them in to keep them quite sheer and quite lightweight looking, and that's just the way I've really been preferring to wear my makeup at the moment. So now I'm going to bronze up my skin, and the bronzer I have in here, and the one that I've just been reaching for the most this month, is the Soap & Glory Solar Powder Bronzer, and this is looking a bit battered and beaten up at the moment because it has this kind of paper cardboard packaging. It gets really dirty really quickly, but it's a really nice shade of bronzer. It's a really great budget option as well. So I just take that on an angle brush and kind of swirl it between the two colours and kind of do a bit of contouring and a bit of bronzing at the same time. So I don't just keep it in my cheekbones, I kind of do it in the cheekbone and then blend it upwards slightly. And I do love a good helping of bronzer just to kind of warm up my skin that little bit more. And then I take that down my nose and on my chin and onto my neck as well, because my neck is always at least 2 or 3 shades lighter than my actual skin. For blush, I have a couple of the Hourglass Ambient Lighting blushes in here. I think I'm going to use this one here, which is Diffused Heat, and it's a kind of very warm, very corally tone blush. These are so incredibly pigmented, you just need a couple of taps on your brush and they just give a really bold colour on the cheeks. The shade of this one is actually quite similar to one of my absolute all-time favourite blushes, which is the Balm's Frat Boy blush. So if you like that one and you want to try out one of these Hourglass ones, this is probably the shade that I'd go for. It's just a really pretty warming coral tone. And then of course I have a highlighter in here. Can't be without a highlighter, which is my favourite makeup product ever, and it's the Mary-Lou Manizer that I have from the Balm as well. This is just, and I think will always be my absolute favourite highlighter ever. One of my favourite places to actually put highlighter is down the bridge of my nose, and I just find it makes my makeup look very kind of dimensional and very glowy and fresh, and also slims my nose down a little bit, so that's always good. So onto brows, and I have quite an array of brow products in this little makeup bag. I've got the Bobbi Brown Powder Brow Kit, I have the Tarte Brow Mousse, and then the Soap Glory Archery Pencil. I think that I'm going to go for the Tarte Brow Mousse just because I kind of want a bit more of a bold brow today. I think always love a bold brow. So I'm just going to brush my brows up. They're a bit messy at the moment. I need to give them a little bit of a trim. And I just tap a tiny bit on an angled brush and kind of basically take most of it off again in the lid. This stuff is so pigmented, you don't need a lot of it at all. And then just kind of work at brushing it through, kind of mimicking the shape of the hairs and the direction they go. And I just find it's a really nice product to build up a lot of colour in your brows. And this is where I go completely silent because I can't concentrate on doing my brows and talking at the same time. It's just not going to happen. So brows done, probably looking a little bit terrifying at the moment because I have no other eye makeup on, but trust me, it will all come together in a moment. And sometimes I would usually brush them through with a kind of clear brow gel or a tinted brow gel, but the Tarte Mousse does a pretty good job of just holding them all in place because it's kind of got this kind of sticky, pomade-y texture to it, so it really holds them down and I don't really need anything else to set them in place. So I have an eye palette in here that I've been using a lot recently. It's pretty much the only eye makeup that I've really been wearing, and I kind of rediscovered this a few weeks ago. I had it in my makeup drawers, which I'm actually sitting next to right now, which basically contain all the makeup I've ever bought in my whole life, and I kind of go through phases of putting things in there. If I'm not using them, I'm kind of rummaging through it again and picking things out. So this was in there, and it's the Marc Jacobs Lolita palette. Is this not just the most perfect nude eyeshadow palette you've ever seen? It's so pretty. It has kind of matte shadows here and then some more sparkly ones and then a really glittery one in the middle, and it's these two that I've really been wearing a lot, teamed with the kind of matte shade in the crease, so that's what I'm going to put on today. And these eyeshadows blend so nicely and they're really well pigmented. They actually remind me a lot of the Urban Decay eyeshadows, and they're probably the best eyeshadow formula I've ever come across. So I'm putting a mixture of the two shimmery browns onto my eyelid, and I actually like to take a little bit of the lighter one just on my finger and pop that in the tear duct. And then I blend the matte shade in through the crease, and this really is just the perfect crease colour. It's not too warm, it's not too cool, it's just the right kind of shade of brown. And this is just a very simple everyday makeup, so I'm not too worried about blending everything perfectly and getting it all exactly precise, but this is just how I've been wearing it recently. And then I take that matte shade again just underneath all my bottom lashes. I've definitely been an avid wearer of liquid liner at the moment. I've really been enjoying the way it looks, and I think it's probably down to this product here. It's the Stila All Day Waterproof Liquid Liner, and this is probably the best liquid liner I've ever come across. It's a really intense, very pigmented black, and it's really nice to work with as well. It has a very kind of pointy, narrow tip, so you get a nice precise line with it, and it does last all day. It's actually quite tricky to take this off, it lasts so long. So I'm not after a particularly thick line, I just like to define my eyes a little bit and have a bit of a wing as well. So we'll see how this goes. Now I've said that, I'll probably do something completely different. So I kind of just start by lining my eyes, and I do that first so I can try and get them even, and then I trace in the flick. So I kind of just follow my bottom lash line and kind of keep the line going in that same direction and sort of point it up towards the bottom of my brow. Definitely not my best attempt, but that will do. So for mascara, I have in here Benefit's Roller Lash, and I also have Clinique's Bottom Lash Mascara, and I'm going to use a combination of the two. And a lot of people really have sat on the fence about this one. I absolutely love it. I think it's amazing for length, for volume, for everything, but a lot of people haven't really got on with it, so I think that's quite interesting. But I think it's just an amazing mascara, and for me there's no such thing as too much mascara. So last of all, onto lip products, and I definitely have quite a few of those here. The one thing I don't actually have though is the one that I really wanted to use, which is the Barry Lip Jelly in Sigma. It's one of my favourite colours at the moment. I've been having it in my handbags, in my pocket, that's probably where it is right now. But I haven't got that here to use today, but that is the one I would have picked. But I also have a Charlotte Tilbury lipstick in here. This is one of her newer shades. This is Miss Kensington. It's a really pretty nude colour. I've got one of the new Clarins Instant Light Lip Balm Perfectors. These are so hydrating, really comfortable to wear on the lips. And this is a really pretty kind of light pink shade. But I think the one I'm going to use, one of my favourite lip products as well, is the NARS Satin Lip Pencil in, this is the shade Torres Paine. It's a really pretty peachy corally pink. So a nice everyday colour. And I find you don't really need to line your lips with this. It kind of works as a liner and a colour at the same time. I might just put a little bit of the Clarins lip balm as well on the top, just to make it a little bit more shiny. So that is everything that I have inside my makeup bag, and pretty much just my everyday go-to makeup look. So I hope you enjoyed that, and I will see you all soon. Bye!